All right, so we're going to do Chapter 8 in Beasts. And this one is called The Palace of Death. Because remember, Hades is the king of the underworld. So it says, it was one of the most uncomfortable journeys of Demon's entire life. The box had grudgingly agreed to enable its special passenger mode for him. It even provided a large bottle for Orpheus to pour himself into so he didn't blow away during the ride. Because remember, he's like a ghost, so he's given him a bottle. After many tearful farewells from Eurydice, who was staying to visit Arachne for a while, Demon lay across the box's silver lid. He clung onto Orpheus's bottle with one hand and the handle with the other. The large blue wings flapped frantically, once, twice, 3 times. Then they were airborne. "Goodbye, Orphe," sobbed Eurydice. "Good luck, Demon," called Arachne. Demon slipped and slid from side to side, terrified that he was going to fall off the box, labored across Leith's marsh, and veered sharply right. Then it plunged downward, avoiding a cloud of ghostly bats. "Ow! Ow! Ow!" Demon howled as his toes scraped along the ground. The box merely let out a stream of blue cymbals that roared past his ears, crackling and spitting with sparks. So there he is trying to fly on the cauldron, holding Orpheus in one hand. Okay. All right. It says, it rose unsteadily into the air, again with an unbalancing wobble that nearly caused Demon to drop Orpheus's bottle. Over Eurydice's grove, over the warriors' trees, over the crowded plain of ghosts they flew, until Demon could finally see the black walls of Hades' palace. With one last mighty effort, the box heaved itself and Demon over the silver gates and flumped down beside Cerberus's body with a crash. As Demon thudded to the ground, the silver skulls on top of the palace roof swiveled to look at him. Their fire eyes suddenly ignited, pinning Demon in the middle of a circle of hot red beams. "Intruder alert! Intruder alert! Intruder alert!" they shrieked. Their bony jaws creaked like rusty hinges. "Quick," said Orpheus in a muffled voice from inside the bottle. "Show them your ring." Demon got his hand out from underneath him and waved Hades' black ring at them. As soon as it touched one of the red beams, they all winked out. "False alarm! Stand down, boys," said the nearest skull. Demon looked around nervously. Had Hades heard them? He hoped not. He jumped to his feet, wincing at the pain from the rough landing. How much time did he have left before the god came after him? He had to find that cauldron quickly. Ophi and Euchus were just slithering down to his legs and started to mend him when he noticed all 3 of Cerberus's noses were twitching. "Oh no," he said to the box, "I think they're gonna... Achoo! 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 Achoo!" The 3 heads crashed to the ground, making it shake and shudder. A deep new crack snaked out underneath them, and out of it came the sound of 1,000 hungry armed monsters. "Box!" shouted Demon. "Do something, please!" The silver lid flew open, and a silver disc on a tube shot out, attaching itself to Cerberus's heaving chest. Then it retracted into the box like a whip, and the box snapped shut. Sneezing symptoms should not have resumed yet. Running emergency diagnostics. Demon clenched its fists, trying not to panic. The snakes of Cerberus's mane were beginning to sway and stir. The lid lifted again. A large glass tube with a pointy quill at one end and a ring on the other popped out from its depth. "Inject patient's heart with contents of syringe," squawked the box. "Hurry!" So there's poor Demon. So basically he's giving him a giant syringe and says, "Hey, stick that in his heart." I'm sure he's perfectly thrilled with that. Demon didn't understand. "What do you mean?" he screamed. "Stick him with the pointy end and push." Its metallic voice rose to a screech, so Demon grabbed the glass tube, ran it over to Cerberus. He felt desperate for a heartbeat as he saw the 6 noses twinge again ominously. Thuddity-thud, thuddity-thud, thuddity-thud. There it was. He jabbed the pointed end between the ribs and pushed down on the ring, which slid down into the tube with a hiss. Cerberus's body jerked once and then lay still again. Demon sat back on his heels, listening nervously to the furious bellowing coming out of the creek to his left. "Emergency averted," said the box smugly. "You have precisely 1 hour to finish your task." The blue lights inside flashed twice, and then the lid slid shut with a bang. "Battery recharging pending. Shutdown imminent." It sighed deeply and made a strange pinging noise and went totally silent. "No!" Demon yelled, shaking it by the handles and rattling the lid. "You can't go to sleep now!" But the box remained a lifeless silver lump. Nothing Damon said or did would wake it up. Finally, almost speechless with terror and frustration, he remembered to let Orpheus out of the bottle. "What am I going to do?" he asked as the mist flowed out and reformed into his ghostly friend. The box had been his savior so often that he didn't know how he was going to manage without his tinny advice. "Steal the cauldron, get back here quickly, and hope it recovers," said Orpheus. "Didn't you hear? We have less than an hour. Come on!" He flowed towards the back stone door of the palace, Demon running beside him. One touch of Hades' rings on the door, and they opened. They were in. Edging around the sides of the large courtyard with a dead weeping willow and a sluggish fountain in the center, Orpheus put a finger to his lips. "This way, I think," he whispered, leading Demon into a wide passageway lined with unmoving giant stone skeletons that stared silently at one another across the shiny marble. Demon looked at them uneasily as he tiptoed past, but they didn't move a finger bone. His thumping heartbeat ticked away the seconds as they ran up the narrow black marble staircase and down broad empty corridors. Then, just as Demon smelled the scent of new-mown hay, surprisingly in that musty place, they heard the sound of muffled marching footsteps. "Quick! Behind you here!" Orpheus hissed, disappearing into the alcove behind the black velvet curtain. Demon slipped in with him, feeling the clammy mist of the ghostly body touch his side. He peeked out through a tiny crack to see a terrifying sight. A whole platoon of giant stone skeletons that had come to life and were marching in perfect step down the corridor, bones clicking softly as they passed. "What are they?" Demon whispered, though he feared he knew. Immediately the skeletons stopped, dead, skulls turning towards the alcove as one. Demon froze, not daring to move even an eyelash, let alone breathe. Seeing nothing, they marched on, rows and rows of them. Demon let out a whooshing breath as the last of them disappear. "Phew," he said. "Definitely phew. Those were Hades' personal skeleton guards," Orpheus replied. "The ones Eurydice was talking about. We passed the spares on the way. Didn't you notice?" "I thought they were just statues," Demon said. Then he smelled the new-mown lawn again, and the scent seemed to be coming from a door just ahead. It was a door with a silver crown and a wheat stalk over it. "Hey, are those Queen Persephone's chambers?" he asked. She was the goddess of spring and growing things after all, as well as Hades' wife. "Yes, they are. Wait there. I'm going to make sure there's nobody inside," said Orpheus, flitting across the corridor. Demon jiggled from foot to foot impatiently, but soon Orpheus was beckoning him forward. "Coast's clear," he said. "I think they're usually in the big hall at this time of day, judging the dead. Either one of the gods is on your side, or you're just very lucky." Demon sent a quick thought of thanks to Hephi, Heceta, and Hermes, just in case. If any gods were going to be on his side, they were. Queen Persephone's chamber was a riot of color, festooned with flowers so bright they almost hurt Demon's eyes after all the gray and black. He suddenly realized how much he missed Orpheus and the stables, or Olympus, and the stables. Were all his beasts all right? Was Doris the Hydra cleaning out the poo properly and feeding everyone? But there was no time to think of that. The clock was ticking, and they needed to find the cauldron urgently. Demon and Orpheus moved quickly through the rooms, searching. Eurydice hadn't been able to remember exactly where she'd seen it. There are pretty berries near it, I think," she said. "Red ones, like lots of tiny cherries." There wasn't a berry in sight in any of the rooms, not a single one. Demon was in despair, looking under drifts of poppies and behind clumps of bluebells. "We'll never find it," he groaned. Even the normal cheerful Orpheus looked glum. "It's all spring flowers in here," he said. "Maybe my Eurydice got it wrong." Suddenly Demon had an inspiration. What if Queen Persephone had her autumn decorations up when Eurydice was here? he asked. This definitely looks like spring, but tiny red berries come in autumn from trees like mountain ash or hawthorn. Maybe we should be looking for those kind of blossoms. So they searched every tree in the place. There was a cherry blossom, an apple blossom, a pear blossom, a plum blossom, but they couldn't find a single hawthorn or mountain ash. Demon was about to tear his hair out with frustration when his eyes fell on a little tree with a shiny reddish bark and a cloud of tiny white flowers. Half hidden behind the high wall covered in ferns, between its moss-covered roots, was a glint of gold. Demon ran over and pulled at it with a shout of triumph, and out came a tiny cauldron with a silver handle. "Got it!" he cried. Just then there was a tremor beneath his feet and a muffled rumble. "Oh no! I think that Cyberus has started to sneeze again. Run!"